As we wait for the courts to decide the next step, we are asking what role the federal government plays.
Our Maggie DeRosiers explains why federal, even some state leaders, are not interfering in this ongoing fight between New York City and upstate New York. She joins us in studio with more tonight. Maggie.
Good evening. Well, today I asked Senator Chuck Schumer his thoughts on this city versus upstate battle surrounding the migrant crisis. He answered, but he didn't say he was getting involved. So I took the question to two other lawmakers. In Auburn Wednesday morning, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer speaking to what he sees his role is in the migrant crisis. The Democrat pointing to $800 million earmarked for local communities who welcome asylum seekers.
My job is to get as much federal money as we can so our New York taxpayers don't have to stand in the way. And we're fighting hard. We got $800 million a while back, and now we're trying to get some more.
Schumer left without taking more questions on the issue or indicating that he's involving himself in the ongoing feud between New York City and upstate New York counties.
I think our immigration policy at the federal level is failing us, and it has for a very long time.
New York's lieutenant governor pointing to a failure of federal leaders, partisan politics, and a lack of communication.
The communication piece is going to be essential, making sure that we're bringing folks together at the table to have constructive dialogue and to do so in a way that is appreciative of everybody's perspective in this.
Delgado says critical work needs to be done, especially when discussing the myriad of resources that would need to be managed. Local officials saying they were told up to 200 migrants could be sent here soon and maybe more in the future.
The governor is reaching out to our county execs, working with the mayor, and is talking with the White House in what I think are constructive conversations, trying to figure out how to better collaborate at every level of government.
U.S. Representative Brandon Williams agrees the lack of information from the federal government is a problem. He's encouraging moves from local counties to halt migrants from being sent here, at least until they know more about who these asylum seekers are and what their status is in this country.
Office has initiated a letter to Secretary Mayorkas, basically asking for clarification on immigration status of these people down in New York City. What are the immigration laws? How many? What are the policies and procedures? Nothing's going to happen in central New York with our blessing until we get answers.
He says in future discussions he looks to advocate for local taxpayers who could be asked to move to make room in the town of Salina or other spots.
For the mayor of New York City to unilaterally push his failed policies and the failed policies of the Biden administration onto our community and to displace the most vulnerable people is absolutely criminal.
Onondaga County leaders spoke again today about being open to future negotiations, but for now, a judge will have his say in court on Friday, and New York City is standing down on its plan as the courts weigh in.
New York City will not be sending the asylum seekers to Onondaga County just yet, but with that future still uncertain, with some legal battles going on, some organizations are preparing in case the migrants do arrive in the coming weeks. Our Samantha Croston spoke with the All Saints Catholic Church in Syracuse, and they say they're not so happy with the leadership of Onondaga County. She's live in Syracuse tonight with their perspective. Sam.
Well, Matt, the members who I spoke with tonight begin by saying they're upset with what they feel is a lack of communication from the people who are in charge. But really their biggest frustration is a lack of, maybe even an unwillingness to help people who are really in need of that help.
Earlier in the week, hundreds of migrants were set to travel here from New York City. But because of a temporary restraining order granted by a judge, they are blocked from coming for now.
It's an absolute scandal. I think the Statue of Liberty is crying as she views what's happening in our nation.
Dale Avers is a parishioner at All Saints Catholic Church. She feels that in the long run, immigration has ultimately helped not only those who immigrate here, but also America.
I would just ask that everybody that hears this put themselves in a situation of having to leave your country, not because you want to, but because you fear for your life. You know you will be killed or lose a limb if you stay.
We've heard this week from neighbors who believe county and city leaders should remain focused on taking care of American citizens first, and that there aren't enough resources to welcome migrants. I asked Dale how she would respond to those sentiments.
We're all here as immigrants once upon a time, right? In fact, one might argue even illegally. And so how can we say that it's okay for us and not for someone else? We're a big country, we're a generous country. It has always worked out that immigration has helped this country.
One way Father Daly believes migrants would help the country is by working in areas they're needed in.
Hotels, motels, restaurants, the agricultural landscapers are in desperate need for workers. And from our experience here at All Saints, these folks are ready and willing at any moment to do the toughest jobs.
And now All Saints is beginning to collect items, for example, gift cards or toiletries, just in case those migrants do arrive here in central New York.
The farm bill expires this year. Senator Chuck Schumer went to Auburn today saying the passage of a new bill is major because it impacts dairy farmers and you. Allure Lagarde has the latest now.
The first farm bill came in the 1930s as part of President Roosevelt's New Deal in response to the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. Since then, Congress has enacted a bill every 5 years. The 2018 bill will expire this September, and if a new one isn't passed, it could hugely impact dairy farmers.
Dairy farmers need many things in their toolbox to survive volatile times within the dairy industry when it comes to prices for milk and feed and other supplies that we have.
New York is the fourth largest producer of milk in the country, and Senator Chuck Schumer says Central New York is a big reason for that. If the bill expires, so will some of its programs, including the Margin Protection Program from dairy, which helps dairy producers protect the financial margin between milk prices and the feed cost to produce that milk.
It would cause huge supply chain disruptions and market panic.
One of the main goals of the bill is to keep prices fair for farmers and shoppers. So if the bill isn't passed, it could be an expensive trip to the supermarket.
We have great production of milk, and the DMC keeps the price lower. If this were to go away, the price of milk would go up by a whole lot.
This isn't just about milk. This is about other dairy products, such as butter and yogurt. So I asked shoppers how they would feel if they walked into the grocery store one day and saw a jumping increase in price for these dairy products.
I wouldn't be happy. Things have already gone up, especially since COVID.
First of all, it would hurt your wallet, but I probably would still buy the products. Find the place that has the most reasonable prices. Dairy is really important to a family and their growth with the kids.
For the bill to be authorized, it needs to be debated, passed by Congress, and get President Biden's signature. For farmer owner Julie Patterson, the bill being passed means everything to her business and consumers.
This dairy margin coverage helps us weather those times and helps us stay viable as a business producing safe, affordable, and healthy food for consumers in New York State and beyond.
Senator Schumer says this has good bipartisan support, but they need to make this a major push federally to get the bill passed.